Hear the stories of men and women switching hustles and escaping the odds through entrepreneurship after prison. Not only will these stories inspire you, but also unlock business tips for financial freedom. Let's get it.
Thank you all for tuning in to Escaping the Odds. I have a great guy here with me today, David Figueroa. He's the CEO, founder, president of Second Chance Renovations out of Chicago, Illinois. He's not only rebuilding properties, but also rebuilding lives with his construction company, Renovation company. So thanks for having you here, bro. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right. No problem, man. So pretty much on this show, we basically highlight the formerly incarcerated, such as you and I, who are really making an impact within the community and doing entrepreneurial work or maybe a nonprofit. I know you got the Second Chance Renovation. So before we get into that, though, I want to kind of talk about your experience with the criminal justice system, kind of give us your backstory on pretty much how you got into the system, how you grew up. I knew you grew up in Humboldt Park, which is a rough part of, right now that they're kind of changing that environment. But back in the day, as you and I know, Humboldt Park was a pretty rough area. So we can kind of talk about that whole experience and what was that like for you.
And so I would say that even right now, Humboldt Park is still the 5th most violent neighborhood in Chicago.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay, wow.
So I was born and raised in Humboldt Park, and I ran away from home at the age of 11 years old.
Okay.
That was the first time I ran away, and I was on the streets. My father was abusive, and just didn't want to be there anymore, right? So took to the streets, slept in hallways, stolen cars, did whatever we had to do. And pretty much that's where I started my trips in and out of the justice system. So I got arrested at 11, my first time, in and out, oddie home stints, 10 days, 15 days, whatever. But, progressed, as I got older. When I was 17, when I was 14, I was caught shooting at someone.
Okay.
I was charged with attempted murder, and I was sentenced to 18 months in the juvenile system.
Okay.
And got out and wasn't out for 2 months and got caught shooting somebody as an adult.
Oh, wow.
And got sentenced. I took 7 years. There was no way I was going to beat that charge.
Right.
And so that was my first stint as an adult.
Okay. All right. So when you first caught that case for that attempt murder case, right? Also, something else happened while you were being arrested for that case. You were arraigned for something more serious than that, right?
That was actually my second charge as an adult.
Okay.
Right. I was arrested originally for an armed violence.
Okay.
And then I was
take us through that story. That's a pretty interesting story.
Yeah, I was on the block and police rolled up on us, and they found a gun and some drugs inside of my car. And so they arrested me for armed violence, took me to the Cook County Jail. And while I was going through the processing for that charge, I was rearrested and taken back to the police station and put in a lineup for murder in 3 attempts.
Wow.
And I was picked out of the lineup. And so they charged me with murder in 3 attempts and sent me back to the county jail with all of those charges.
Right. And plus your armed violence.
Plus the armed violence.
So basically you were looking at a natural life sentence.
They offered me 59 years at 100%.
Wow. And how old were you then?
I was 25 years old.
Wow. So at any time, as you know, sometimes the pressure is on you. You locked up, especially the county jail, right? I think they design it so a person can potentially cop out.
For
right?
sure.
And so was there any time during your stint where you was like, 59 years? It may sound crazy for some people to cop out to that, but if you're looking at something more serious like a life sentence, someone may be like, okay, let me get that.
Yeah, it was never an option.
Never an option, okay.
Never an option.
Okay, cool. All right. And so, so you're going through the system, right? You're going through the whole trial situation, and
yeah, and the more I learned about my case, and the more I saw all of the discrepancies and all of the just things didn't add up. And in my heart, I knew that they had the wrong person. So
exactly.
I took a bench trial, and I was found not guilty on all charges.
Okay, now for our audience, some of them may not know what a bench trial is. So because I know you have an option, a bench trial or a jury trial.
Correct.
Explain to them kind of what a bench trial is and also why you decide to take a bench versus a jury trial.
For sure. So the jury trial is where you pick 12 of your peers to to judge you and decide your fate. A bench trial is you choose to take a trial by the judge. And I chose to take a trial by the judge because I did see the pictures of the crime, and it was a pretty gruesome crime. And I know that, as a person, we deal with emotions. Right. And the judge himself, he would be impartial to those emotions. He would strictly deal with the law. Okay. And I was looking for someone who was going to give me justice. And
exactly. Okay. And so eventually that's what happened, though.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so, walk us through that whole experience, man. You facing a lifetime in prison, and then you go on a trial, and it's like, man, you don't know what's about to happen. I mean, you hope for the best. You know what I mean? You know that you didn't do it, but at the same time, innocent people get convicted for things they didn't do all the time, yes, right? Sir. You know that's nothing new. And so when you were found not guilty, walk me through those emotions.
Yeah, it was, even though I knew in my heart that I didn't do this, and I felt it in my heart that I would be found not guilty. I my sisters were there, my father was there, right. And I just got emotional. I was crying. I broke down. Right. It was joyful. It was right. Joyful, but right. I was just grateful it was over.
Right, no doubt. So, okay, you got found not guilty, but you also got some other charges hanging over your head. You got the armed violence still, right? Mm-hmm. So how did that play out?
So I ended up also catching a knife case and a weed possession case in the Cook County Jail throughout my stay there. So I ended up taking 14 years as a cop-out for the armed violence in the time I was there. So I only ended up serving 6 months in the penitentiary.
Okay, so was that after you got found not guilty? Or
yes.
Okay, so you I beat the bigger charge.
Yeah. Let
me go ahead and you already knew that you were already incarcerated for the 6.5 years, so you knew they would give you time credit.
Correct.
Okay, so that was part of the deal. I'm already here. Let me go ahead and cop out.
Yeah, I knew I was guilty of the armed violence, so I didn't know how much time they were going to give me for it, but they offered me 14 years, and I did the math, and I was like, I'll be home in 6 months. So,
exactly, right. So it worked out.
I started the countdown.
Right, now definitely. I already know, right? And so, all right, so you started the countdown, and now you out.
Yes.
Okay, you've been in and out of institutions from juvenile to county jail fighting murder cases and this and that, right? This is your lifestyle. So what made you turn from that lifestyle that's the only thing you knew?
Yeah.
So what was that turning point? What did it start at the end of your bit after you had beat this murder case in these 3 attempts, or was it something when you got out, you was like, man, I can't do this no more?
So I'm a religious person.
Okay.
And so, even before my trial, I had a conversation with God, and I asked him, to bring me justice, and I promised him that I would live my life to serve him. And so he did his part, and so now I have the rest of my life to do my part.
Okay. All right. And so once you got out, you told me a little bit before that your father or someone in your family was always like a carpenter, right? So it was basically in your blood. You kind of grew up around this kind of a trade. And so when you got out, walk me through that. Like, okay, you had to find a job. Okay, have you ever worked before being incarcerated?
I worked as a juvenile, as an assistant lifeguard when I was a kid. Right. That was the only job I ever had.
Okay. And so when you end up getting a job in the carpentry field, like how did that come about? And
so I was actually working for a warehouse and going through this 9-week program for another organization in Chicago to try to help me find a job, get a career and, get my life back on track. And I had a friend who was a gang member friend when we were back in the days growing up, and he had outgrown, the stuff as well. Right. And he was a carpenter. And so he called me and said, hey, my company's looking for somebody right now. I was like, I'm not a union car. He's like, get over here right now. So I went over there. They sponsored me. I went through the apprenticeship program. Okay. And I got into the Carpenters Union.
Okay, cool. And so that pretty much gave you all the experience and what led you to what you're doing right now full time, your second chance renovations, right?
Right. So I had this vision in jail as well. Like I wanted to help people like me, and when I got out of jail, it just cemented that I was gonna end up doing this. I looked for a job for like 4 weeks and could not find a job. And I was settling for minimum wage jobs and could not find a job.
Right.
So I went through a temp agency and I started working through a temp agency. And I mean, you know, just knowing how hard it was, I knew in my heart that I was going to start this company.
Right.
And so I went to carpenter school to learn aspects of my trade that I didn't know. And so I just broadened my skills. And then the biggest thing was in 2013, I was working on my own house.
Okay.
And I fell off my roof and I broke my back.
Oh, wow.
And so for 9 months, I was laid up in a hospital bed in my own house.
Okay.
And, you know, when I was working as a union carpenter, I had worked my way up from not knowing anyone, just work ethic to a foreman. I was a foreman for a union carpenter shop. And when I went back to work, it just wasn't the same. I had lost my seniority. I wasn't working every day. I was sitting at home while people who were just hired were working. And so I had to make a really tough decision to take the money that I had in the bank and start my own company.
Right. Yeah, take that leap of faith.
Yeah.
And so walk me through that, all right? Second chance renovations, you kind of forced into the situation. And a lot of times that happens to us, right? Where we kind of, you know, situations put us in a predicament where we like, okay, we got to make something out of nothing. So that's what you did with Second Chance Renovation. So, like, how did you get your first contract? Like, because initially you were trained as a carpenter, but not as a general contractor.
Correct.
And I know those are two different trades, if you will, skill sets.
Correct.
Right? And so I know you were making mistakes in the beginning because you're looking at it from a perspective of a carpenter. And so how did you get those bidding contracts to grow your company to where it is now?
Yeah, so I'll tell you that the first year was extremely hard. It was very slow, not a whole lot of business, but a whole lot of networking.
Okay.
And so I was out there networking, putting our name out there and just letting people know who we are and what we're doing. And in year two, a lot of those relationships from year one started to see fruition. And, you know, just a lot of the jobs that we were doing, even the little jobs we were doing, we started getting a lot of traction, word of mouth. People were speaking about our company. And you know, year two, I'll tell you that from year two, this is year 5.5, and we have been working nonstop, even throughout the winters.
Wow. Okay. And it's profitable.
Yeah. For the last 3.5 years, it's been profitable.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So pretty much you would say it's a lucrative trade to get into, general contract. Like what sets you apart? Because I've heard stories where it's not all that profitable.
It is not. I wouldn't say it's very lucrative.
Okay. I
would say that if you know what you're doing, you can take care of your family and you can start, you know, building, you know, what you're looking for.
Exactly.
The thing is having reliable people. And so I have run into a lot of issues with, you know, guys who are just not ready to make that full change.
Yeah.
You know, and
because every one of your employees that works directly with you are some kind of
someone who's been through the same walk we've been through and trying to get to where we are, you know, trying to get out of what they were in and trying to get on solid ground.
Yeah.
So, and those are people we're trying to help.
Yeah.
But, you know, some of these guys, you know, they come in and say, yeah, I'm ready. And they're not ready. And my thing, I believe deep in my heart that there's a big hole in between these individuals coming out of jail, and some of them go through these programs and all this stuff, but they need a mentor.
Okay.
They need somebody to set them straight. They need somebody who's walked that walk and talked that talk and smack them upside the head and pull their collar sometimes, because sometimes that life just looks so good and we are struggling, trying to do the right thing, and people are pulling you, so you need somebody to pull you back.
Right. Definitely.
And so I believe there's a huge gap between these guys who come out of jail, and even though they go through these organizations, no one sticks with them, no one walks with them, no one lives life with them.
Right.
And that's the gap. That's the gap for the recidivism.
Yeah.
Going back. If someone had that, pulling them in that opposite direction, you know, they think twice about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt. I got you. Also, like, what are the benefits you think for hiring someone who's a formerly incarcerated or ex-offender?
I know I'm a hard worker.
Yeah.
And I know I'm trying to outlive my past.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to outlive my mistakes. And I know a lot of us who've been in these shoes, we think the same way. Because society ain't gonna let us outlive our mistakes. We have to go above and beyond to outlive our mistakes.
So it's pretty much almost like you got a point to prove.
They do.
Yeah.
And for the ones who are ready,
sky's the limit.
they dangerous, man.
Yeah, no, definitely. I can attest to that.
Dangerous.
I'm
Because,
dangerous.
Yes, sir. I'm dangerous. Yes, sir.
Definitely, yeah. Okay, so when you're bidding on a contract or a piece of property or project, like what are some of the things you're looking at where you're saying, okay, this is something that I can be profitable with and also be able to kind of get my name out? Are there some projects you just kind of like turn it down, like, no, I don't want to deal with that?
I have turned down projects, but my price is my price.
Okay.
Right? And so I can do a lot of different things. And to something that may be intimidating to somebody else, I'm not intimidated by it.
Like what?
Like, a house that's falling apart.
Okay.
Where you can't even walk in this building. I'm not intimidated by it. I know exactly what to do with it. So I'll get in there and do it.
Okay.
But people are intimidated by it. But my price is my price.
Right.
I have to be true to me and be true to my guys and not cheat us in the process.
Okay.
And so, it took me a while to get the pricing down packed, to get, pricing for square footage, for whatever it is that we do.
Right.
And so my price is my price.
Okay.
And I've learned that. But we do good work.
Yeah. No
we
doubt.
do solid work. And we can pass any inspection for the city of Chicago. And we can pull any permits you need done.
Right.
And we'll take care of business.
How big is your team?
Right now, there's 4 of us.
4, okay. All right. So,
and we're looking to grow.
Right.
But, it's winter right now. And so work is a little kind of scarce. But
yeah,
I'm keeping me and 3 other guys busy right now. So.
Okay. So walk me through that whole process of when you are pricing something. Like you mentioned the square footage and a lot of things that most people won't even know from a general contractor's perspective. Like what am I looking at? Like the numbers. Take me behind the numbers.
So I price everything in square footage.
Okay. So a 2,000 square foot home.
Right, but what are we doing? So I'm pricing drywall in square footage. I'm pricing painting in square footage. I'm pricing flooring in square footage.
Okay.
Siding.
What about electricals?
So again, my electrical. So as a general contractor, I can hire subcontractors.
Okay.
And so because I am not an electrician, I stay in my lane.
Right.
So I'll hire a licensed contractor to come in and do their thing.
Okay.
And they'll give me their quote. But I've been in this long enough that I can understand when someone's trying to gouge me and when someone's being on the up and up. And I've dealt with enough people. I have a pretty decent team now that I deal with. And, they're pretty honest people. So
okay, that's good, man. Because a lot of times, as you and I both know, contractors get a bad rep.
Yeah. And a lot of contractors are horrible.
Yeah.
And they have no business doing this kind of work.
Right. So what makes you, what should I look out for? I'm trying to get a property renovated. And as you just telling me about a property you did, and you told me the numbers behind it. And I think that if I would have had that property and the number you told me that it costs to renovate that place, I'd probably be like, man, you tripping, right? However, those numbers, right? Behind those numbers, like how do I, when I'm in that place, when I want to get this piece of property done, like what are some of the things I need to look for as relates to hiring the right kind of contractor?
So the first thing you want to do is get 3 bids.
Okay.
You want to get 3 quotes because you want to know that these people are in the ballpark. So if this guy is bidding something that's, $20,000 over, he's gouging you. So he's out the question. Okay. So that's the first thing you want to get 3 quotes.
Okay.
Right? And then you want to listen to the people who are talking to you and listen to what they're speaking about. And
what if you don't know anything?
And if they can make you understand what they're saying. Because a good contractor will explain to you what he's seeing, and you will understand what he's talking about. Okay, gotcha. What are some of the cost-cutting things that you're doing to kind of keep your costs down? Like maybe I've heard where I had a contractor buddy where he said he will purchase, say he has 6 or 7 properties going at one time, he would purchase pretty much all the same kind of material. Like the same color, flooring, the same color. That way, if he needs something, he can always go to the warehouse and grab it. Is that a strategy that you utilize as well, or anything else you can So you have a luxury to have a warehouse?
Well, no, maybe not even a warehouse, just somewhere where you can kind of store it.
So it depends. I always anticipate, what I'm doing. I work in like 30-day intervals. Okay. So I know what I'm doing for the next 30 days. Okay. And so, if something presents itself that I know I'm going to be using, I'll absolutely purchase it at that time. And I have my favorite stores.
Okay.
I have my, my favorite, like designs. I design a lot of stuff I do on my own.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So.
And that allows you to save money as well.
Well, for sure, because you get into a habit, you understand what you're using, what you're not using. You're able to buy in bulk certain things and use them on multiple job sites.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, but there's also the paperwork behind general contracting, or just like renovation as well, right?
That kills
you have to get certain permits, and if you get caught without a permit, and it could be issues for you, inspections and things of that nature. So what does that look like? Like going to get a permit? Like if I hire you as a to renovate a piece of property, or if I want to be a general contractor and I want to learn how to pull a permit, what are some of the techniques to kind of know that I'm doing the kind of right thing?
So I would advise anybody who starts to hire an expediter. An expediter is somebody who knows exactly what to do downtown, where to go, who to speak to. Okay. And, they're $300.
Right.
But in hindsight, that $300 is pennies on what you're going to spend with your time trying to track down where you need to go, what you need to do, who you need to talk to. Just pay them, get it done. If it's a brand new construction, you have to hire an architect, and he deals with the permit process for you.
So do you ever deal with brand new properties?
Yeah, I all the time.
Oh, new constructions, they call it, right?
For sure.
Okay, you think that's more of a better kind of a property to deal with opposed to complete gut rehab, or is it pretty much the same?
I think easier is a brand new property.
Okay. Because everything started from the ground up.
Everything's from the ground. You're not undoing something somebody did wrong, or something that somebody did, but it's outdated because it takes longer to undo it and redo it.
Makes sense.
You know what I mean? So
okay. So with your experience, you all over the city, right? You general contractor, so you get the opportunity to kind of see some up and coming areas. It's like, okay, maybe I need to invest in this myself, right? So it kind of gives you a heads up, so to speak, would you say? Because you like boots on the ground, so you're seeing areas that's kind of up and coming.
I do, right? But I don't make my decisions based on only financial.
Okay.
I make my decisions based on areas I want to help.
Okay.
Right. The focus of Second Chance Renovations was to help people like me who are struggling to get things right, who are struggling to get into the door somewhere because of their background, right? That was the purpose from day one.
Exactly.
Right. And so now the purpose is to help redo some of these areas that are so blighted and so bad.
Right.
That's where we want to be.
Okay.
So I buy properties in Inglewood.
Okay. So it's a two-part kind of a thing. The community and also the people that you hire
for sure
are also going to work in those same communities. They probably help destroy in one way or another.
You are correct. I speak that to my guys all the time, and it's in my rules, it's in my bylaws that we will help rebuild the areas that we help destroy. That is a fact.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty noble, man, to do that. Because a lot of times people only looking at the financial aspect of
I don't let that guide me. I mean, it does. I need to be profitable in order to not let my company be a hobby.
Yeah.
Right? So I need to be profitable because I have a family to take care of as well.
No doubt, yeah.
Right? But it's not my end-all, be-all driving force.
Okay. So Inglewood, we know most of Inglewood is pretty rough, right? You got some parts where they're kind of rebuilding in the area. Yeah. So let's say I purchased a property over there for $10,000, right? Would that be an accurate depiction?
It depends on the size of the property, but yeah, it's possible.
So somewhere around there, let's say $20,000, right? How much would I need to put in that piece of property to bring it up to standard of living? Like say I want to get it rented out through Section 8. As we know, they have a stringent kind of inspection. Kind of
high standards.
Exactly, right? So how much would I need? It's a 3-bedroom. Matter of fact, it's a 2-unit. It's a duplex.
So I actually bought one in Inglewood like that.
Okay.
I have a 2-flat in Inglewood. And I bought it when the housing market was on the ground. Okay. So I paid $5,500 for it.
Oh, wow. I thought you were going to say $55,000.
2-flat brick.
Oh, wow.
It was completely destroyed, though.
Okay.
And so
fire damage?
No, not fire damage, but just it had been vacant for 8 years.
Okay.
I mean, it was falling apart. It was destroyed completely.
Yeah. Wow.
I put $110,000 into it.
Okay.
And it's completely brand new.
Okay. So was that worth it?
It's worth $220,000.
Definitely worth it.
For sure.
Right. So that gives you opportunities to do other things now. right?
But I mean, again, what I do is I fix the building and I put families in the building.
Exactly.
Right? And then it helps the neighborhood, right? Because the building's not vacant no more. These people are shopping in the neighborhood. These people are, right?
Right, yeah, definitely, right. So from an equity standpoint, right? So you have this potential equity in your piece of property. So that helps you get lines of credit because now you can expand your business now because you have an asset.
Correct.
Right.
That's exactly what I'm trying to do. Correct.
Exactly. Okay. Right. That's a lot of times listeners, they want to know, like I say, the ins and outs of a particular business. And,
you want to be able to build as many assets as you can so that you can go, to a bank, and have something and say, hey, this is what I have and this is what I need.
Right.
And, I mean, if you have something that's worth taking, because that's all they're looking at. If he doesn't pay me, I'm going to take it. So if you have something that's worth taking, they'll talk to you.
Yeah, you're right. And that's crazy though, right?
Yes,
but
sir.
that's the name of the game.
That is.
As long as you're making your payments, you ain't got to worry about them taking it.
That's a fact.
At the end of the day. So what's next for Second Chance Renovation?
Yeah, so I want to continue to grow.
Okay.
I want to continue. I would love to have a 10-man crew, right? I love to have 15 projects going on at the same time.
Yeah.
But I know that I'm a one-man show as well, right? So what I'm praying for is, a lead man. I had a lead man for 4.5 years.
Okay.
3 months ago, he had a heart attack. He can't work anymore.
Okay.
So, I'm kind of in transition right now.
Yeah.
But I need a lead man.
Right.
I need somebody I can trust.
Yeah.
And can help me guide the guys in the right way and teach them things and, lead by example. So I'm praying for that right now. That's the first thing I need. I need a lead guy.
A lead project manager.
Yeah.
We
A
call
foreman.
that.
I need a foreman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, as far as like building a company through government programs and getting contracts with the city and things of that nature, is that a strategy that you use, or you think that's an appropriate strategy for any kind of a construction company to do?
Yeah, I think if you can do it, do it. I personally have not gone that route yet.
Okay.
I'm building.
Okay.
I'm building a brand.
Right.
I'm building a company. And I'm trying to get the right people in place because, at the end of the day, right. If you can have 1,000 projects, but if you don't have the right people in place,
Want to tarnish the brand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my focus now is people, getting the right people in place and doing good work.
Okay.
And continually let people hear our name and say, yeah, you need somebody. And don't worry about who they are. These people do good work.
Exactly.
They're honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what we're looking for, man.
So how do you find your employees?
Through different organizations in Chicago.
Okay.
Not sure if I can give them a shout out because I haven't spoken to them, but different organizations who work with guys, returning citizens. They screen them, they put them through certain programs, and then we grab them from them. Okay. And and we continue what they've started.
Right. Okay. That's dope, man. You're doing a lot of good work in the community, not just employing, but also revitalizing the community as well. And I didn't think about it from that aspect, right? You said Second Chance Renovation. I'm just thinking about, okay, you're just hiring formerly incarcerated people, but actually the work that you're doing and then putting families in there and just, like I say, revitalizing the whole neighborhood, especially over in Inglewood. That's definitely needed over there.
And it's not such a bad area, man. It gets such a bad name, but it's really not such a bad area.
Yeah.
People are afraid of it. It's a stigma. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, but it's not really a bad area. I work there a lot. I've never had any issues with anyone. No one's ever treated me wrongly.
Right.
So.
Okay, cool, man. Well, there you go, man. How can we find you?
Second Chance Renovations, www.secondchancerenovations.com.
Okay.
We have a Facebook page.
Okay.
We have a Twitter account.
All right. Instagram?
No Instagram. And I'm not very versed at that kind of stuff. My wife kind of runs a lot of that stuff. So.
Okay. All right, cool, man. There you go, man. Second Chance Renovations. Not only rebuilding homes, but rebuilding lives at the same time and communities as well. So I want to thank you all for listening. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Review it. Thank you all for tuning in. As we like to say here, opportunities over penitentiaries, unlocking freedom.
Yes,
Aaron Smith, take care. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.